Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Liminal Boundaries. We are at day 7 now, writing the Ballad of Garvin Hackett, an original screenplay. So for those of you who don't know about the channel and what we do here, just very quickly, I'll walk you through it, catch you up. So we're writing a screenplay from scratch. Uh, it's a Write With Me channel, so you can write with me and follow along as I write. The screenplay is called The Ballad of Garvin Hackett, and it is an ironic, darkly comic take on 90s action movies, kind of like Forrest Gump meets Scarface, but directed by Michael Bay. And the twist is that the laws of physics actually apply. So it's a more realistic, sort of gritty action than the Spielbergian kind of physics. And instead of going a traditional development route, I'm writing this movie directly for you in public, I should say. I'm going to add that in public. And I will probably publish it at some point. I have an idea for a cinematic kind of graphic novel, which is kind of a format that new economies and new technologies have sort of enabled to be economically viable. So I'm hoping that's the case, and we're going to find out together. And that's it. So grab a notebook or keyboard and follow along or write along with me. You're welcome to put suggestions in the chat. There's usually nobody here, so I'm going to say hello, everybody. Welcome. It's just kind of a tradition now, just saying hello to everybody in an empty chat room. All right. So that's the intro to Liminal Boundaries. Now, if you are interested in learning to write, then I recommend the Screenwriting Masterclass. This is what I recommend if you want to write screenplays and stories generally quickly, at high quality, and consistently. Just very quick. And I'm a professional script doctor, so if you want to learn the exact tools demonstrated in this video that working writers use to write, rewrite, and develop stories quickly, this lecture will show you how. You can use the QR code or check out the link in the description below. The tools apply to any form of narrative storytelling, screenplays, novels, comics, televisions, games, all of it. A portion of every sale supports the Arts Accelerator, a nonprofit dedicated to developing the skills of emerging artists. And we do this to sort of bridge the gap between the art schools and the needs of a professional career, with the idea being that we want to enable artists to have sustainable creative careers outside of school. And that's about it. So with that, let's get started on Garvin. Day 7. Today we're covering weapons and methods. So there's the movie is an action movie, and it involves different kinds of drug gangs fighting each other, and our main character Garvin Hackett sort of stuck in the middle. And we've been following some research questions that came up in the initial writing. Generally, if you're writing and you get stuck, it's because you usually write what you know and you don't know enough. So I have tools that help determine whether you're procrastinating or you genuinely don't know enough. And I hit the wall where I didn't know enough about 1994 and that specific culture and that specific moment in South Florida. So I started doing some research. And today, a couple of things we're going to answer is what kind of camera and dark room equipment would you have if you were a wealthy person like Joel, the bad guy? He owns a modeling agency in South Beach. He's a European guy. And then Garvin, he tends to use an M60 machine gun, so you want to learn the properties of the machine gun, when it overheats, what are the limitations of a weapon, how heavy is it, how long can you carry it, things like that. And then Roger Gust, he's the tabloid reporter of Panic Button, right? What do you guys think, Flashpoint or Panic Button for a 1990s sort of scare crime, like live crime sort of show? I don't know, tabloid. I don't know, I'm not sure yet. It's going to be Flashpoint or Panic Button. Both of them are pretty fun. And then I'm looking for just these questions. One is about his character. What's a good word for his strategy? And if those of you who know how I work, every character has a game and a strategy which they use to play the game. So I don't really have a good, clear sense of his strategy yet. So hopefully we'll do a little research on that. Maybe I did it already and forgot it, so we can get past that one quickly. But there's a couple of things that happen, like he's a tabloid reporter, right? So he learns about Garvin's address before the police do. How does he do that? How would somebody do that? What kind of AV equipment did reporters have, right? Because there's usually a man in a chair kind of situation. So you want to know what the man in the chair would have access to back then, and what would the MO be generally of a reporter? Would they be scanning the police? I don't know. It's interesting. What would the name of the tabloid news crime show? So Panic Room and Flashpoint. We can cross this one out because I already did research on that. So that's one less to go. And what kind of deal could a reporter make with a source to get early information about a crime? Which is what happens with him and Garvin. They develop a relationship. So now that I realize what's happening, there should be an intertwine. See, this is why you do research, because it brings up ideas. So let's go to Garvin's girlfriend, because Tammy Lynn Hicks, Tammy Lynn Hicks. So I'm gonna put here. I'm gonna put some scenes. So I'm gonna add a section, bring it up here so you can see what I'm doing. So I just had an idea for a scene with Tammy Lynn. So the scene is basically, let's see. Oh, I lost it because I forgot it. Let me go back and get it really quick. No, where is it? Research questions. Yes. Going to Garvin. Gust. Yes, Roger Gust. I remember now. So what we're doing is there's a scene where Roger Gust makes a deal with Garvin to actually get more information about the crimes, because Garvin's killing the rival gang, right? And so the Roger Gust wants the scoop, right? That's how he makes his money. So I think bringing the girlfriend in, and let's get a scene where Roger approaches Garvin to give him tips, and Garvin doesn't know what to do. Probably Roger would give him a means of contacting him. Right? And then Garvin tells Tammy Lynn. And did I spell her name right? No, it's with a Y. Tammy Lynn. And she convinces Garvin to do it. So that's the key. She's the one who convinces Garvin, because he wouldn't normally do that. But she's attention obsessed, so she convinces him. Right? To establish that relationship with Gust, which can potentially cause trouble later on with his gang, but that could be fun. All right. So that's a plot point we got. All right, let's go back to our research questions. So, yep, what kind of a deal source to get early information about a crime? Okay. And then we got Whitey Jackson, or whose real name is Jackson. So he goes by Whitey because he's embarrassed of his real name, which is a double name. Front and last name are both Jackson, first and last name. So, his car gets impounded early in the film, and he comes back later. And then, yes, we'd want to research into Overtown Liberty City, the riots, how thorough the police in search of impounded car for an unrelated crime. Where do they store cars? So mostly about, like, where does your car go when you're caught, when you're arrested, and what happened there in 1994. That's the key thing. Who knows what they do today, but 1994 is the period. Okay, so that's what we're looking at today. Let's get started. So we'll go, well, bang. Now we're in the AI. We got perfection. Let's go with start with the camera equipment. I have a character in a story I'm writing. He's kind of a European guy with a lot of money. He bought a modeling agency in South Beach in 1994. And I need to know what kind of equipment he would have, what kind of darkroom might he have in his Cocoa Plum mansion, and what kind of high-end photography gear might he have. Give me some makes and models and just a sense of what the overall equipment package would be to create photographs in 1994. That's very important. It's all 1994 technology. So again, high-end 1994 technology. So maybe camera equipment from the last 5 years, from 1989 to 1994. Okay, let's see what Gemini comes up with. And meanwhile, I can copy it. And while Gemini's thinking, oh great, Gemini has some sort of an issue. Let's try refreshing it. Let's try again. Oh, let's change. Oh boy. Okay, it's working. Let me get this guy. Get Claude going too. See what they say. All right. Now we can go back. We can cross high-end camera equipment off the list. But we're going to have to go to Roger Gust. I mean, not Roger Gust. We're going to have to go to Joel. And so we started this new section, or I did. I started a new section called Sets. So that's Joel's home theater, and I'm going to create a new file. I'm going to call it Sets Joel Darkroom, right? Oh, I see some stuff happening. Let's see. That's what I thought. Let's go with choice B. Choice B is definitely the way to go. Oh, this is great. So in 1994, professional fashion and editorial photography was at its peak of analog perfection. Digital cameras existed, but they were experimental, cost as much as a luxury car, and couldn't match the resolution of film. For a wealthy European owner of a South Beach modeling agency, this gear wouldn't just be professional, it'd be the industry gold standard. He would likely use a mix of medium format for studio staged portrait, for that high resolution, creamy depth of field, and 35mm for candid behind the scenes work. Cool. The Hasselblad 503CX, industry standard for studio fashion photography. Okay, let's copy that image. And I actually have a lookbook that I'm putting together for you guys. So once I get that hooked up to my scenes, we're gonna be able to create the lookbooks together. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So let me just put that in right now. So let's go to Joel Gillette. You guys can't see this, unfortunately, yet, but you will soon. Okay, got that. Let's see. I can get, though, the Hasselblad. So you want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my writing, and I'm going to set up a new file. And we'll call it Garvin Hackett. And we'll call it Sets. And then Joel Darkroom. Okay, we got that. And then here we can pop in the Hasselblad 503CX. Okay. Okay, and I'll put cameras. Okay, and then we'll get back to the research. Let's see what we got. The Nikon F4 for 35mm. That's a cool camera. I'll copy that. And I'll do the same thing. Go back in and put this down. Cool. And then we'll go back here. Let's see what else we got. A Leica M6. Yeah, that would be a joke of a camera. That would be like, what I mean by a joke of a camera is that it's extremely expensive, not that it's a bad camera. Even today, the Leicas are very expensive. So they're kind of like the equivalent of a photographic Rolls Royce. It's good to see that some things haven't changed. All they do now is it's digital. So okay, so I got a Leica for street stuff. And this is the one. The Durst L184. Massive high-end professional and larger for large prints. That's the key there. I wanted this kind of equipment. Because this is going to be a film set. Well, a set in the story. So let's do that. Boom. Boom. And we'll put that in there. Cool. And let's go back. Let's see what else they got. Actually, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to throw it into my lookbook real quick. Don't worry, guys. You will see this lookbook. It's kind of a surprise. But right now, I am just pasting it in. Probably the next stream, I'll have it set up for you guys. So you can see this sort of come into life from these collages. But for now, let's just, I think we need an icon. For now, I'm just recording it here. Excellent. Okay. Let's see what else they got here. The Durst Elf. Oh, wow. A fully equipped professional darkroom layout. Now, the one thing I noticed about this, these sets that's bad for a story is that there's nowhere to really hide. It's just stuff against walls. So it's more of a backdrop. I'm not super crazy about that. You want sets in depth, right? Because it gives the characters more to work with. But I will I'll work with it for now. We'll figure it out. Okay. And I'm going to copy this image into the lookbook, which I'm getting ready for you guys. Okay. In fact, I can probably ask it. Let me ask the AI. Let me just make sure. Okay, I'm out. Okay. So the equipment package. So big cameras, Hasselblad, Mamiya. I remember those. The walk around camera, Nikon F4 and Leica M6. Cocoa Plum darkroom setup. Okay, perfect. Chemical prep. He'd likely use Tennital chemistry kit for color C41 processes. Sizing, he would use a Saunders or LPL enlarging easel to hold the paper perfectly flat. Timing, every professional used the Gralab 300 darkroom timer, the iconic black box with the glowing red hands. Pro tip, for your story in 1994, post-production happened in the darkroom using burning and dodging. He would use his hands or cardboard shapes to block light from specific areas of the print to darken or lighten them manually. A high-skill physical art form. Great. I don't really care about the dodging and burning so much, but I do care about the equipment package. And I do care about the layout for the purpose of my story. I do care about the layout for my set. So let me go here and let's see if I can get to the video description. Nope, I'm going to sets darkroom, and I will come in here and copy pasta that information. So cool. Okay. Great. And now I will ask, for my purposes as a storyteller, the $64,000 question. So all I've done is just basically copied the response of Gemini, and then I'm saying, I'm noticing that the dark rooms are kind of flat. In other words, the equipment's right up against the wall. Would there be any situations where the equipment would be in the center? Or what would be the center if a dark room had a center table? Was that common? And if so, what would be the advantage? And if so, what are the layouts? Can you show me some images? Or am I just imagining things? All right, let's see. While we get that, let's see what Claude came up with. High-end setup, cameras, medium format, Nikon F4, Canon EOS N1. That was released in 1994. Okay. For the vanity shelf, a Leica M6, right? He put in chrome finish. A status object as much as the camera. Interesting. Chrome. Studio. Yeah, I like that. Let's do it in chrome finish. So, nice little detail to have. So, let's see. We'll go to one. Oh. And let's put it into chrome. And then we'll put chrome finish. Exclamation point. Got it. Okay, cool. Back to 2. Let's see what we got. All right, studio lighting. Oh, Bronco Color Primo Ovisa Tech Solo. Okay, so Bron Color package. 15 to 30 grand. Pro Photo Pro 7A Power Pack. Swedish system, equally prestigious. Extremely popular in Miami and New York editorial work by the mid-90s. He'd have 4 to 6 head, various wattage. Interesting. Oh, cool. Lowell total lights and a couple of R8. Okay. So I think... Oh, right. The film is very important. I'm going to copy this. I don't know why, but maybe it's my background in filmmaking that I value that information, but I find it to be a good choice. And I'll put here film stocks. Yeah. Yep. And that's going to be funny when Tammy Lynn figures out that Garvin knows Joelle. Because, oh, duh. See, this kind of thinking. Tammy wants to be a model, of course. She wants to. She's probably working the bikini contest scene right in 1994, and then stripping 2 or 3 nights a week. But she definitely wants to be a high-end model with Joelle Gillette. So let's set that up. So we'll go here, boom. And I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner. So Tammy Lynn, notes, wants to be a model. Joelle Gillette is a well-known model agency owner. So this attracts her. Okay. So I didn't make that connection before, but that's important. Let's go back to the dark room. So we got our film stocks. We got our cameras. We got the dark room set up. And let me see what... Let's see what the... Oh, there it is. Let's see the new darkroom setup. So you're not imagining things at all. The flat up against the wall layout is typical for small home darkrooms like a converted bathroom or spare bedroom, whereas space is at a premium and you have a narrow alley to walk down. But your character has a mansion in Coco Plum. He has space. In a high-end custom-built or professional-grade lab, a center island layout is the ultimate flex. It completely changes the workflow, ergonomics, and aesthetics of the space. Great. So I'm going to copy this image. And I am going to throw it into the lookbook, which I'm preparing for you guys. Great. This is looking cool, this lookbook. Can't wait to show it to you. All right, so the two main center island variations. Option A, center sink island, the pro workflow. Instead of pushing the wet side to a wall, a massive custom stainless steel or marine grade fiberglass sink sits right in the dead center of the room, accessible from all four sides. The wet side needs massive amounts of plumbing, temperature controlled water valves, and drainage. By placing it in the center, a master printer can move completely around the trays. If you are developing a giant exhibition prints like 20 by 24 inches, the trays are huge. A center island allows the printer to walk with the print, guiding it through the developer, stop bath, and fixer from different angles without bumping into walls. This is the layout and larger line the perimeter walls. The dry side, you expose your paper at a wall station, spin around 180 degrees, and step up to the center island sink to develop it. Very cool. The dry center. If the main sink is along a far wall, the center of the room features a massive custom-built island with table with a small, smooth, chemical-resistant top, often dark stone, glass, or sealed anti-static laminate. This serves as the master command center for everything that happens between exposing and washing. It's useful for sorting negatives on light boxes, cutting roll. Okay, storage hub, the space underneath a center island is incredibly valuable. It's usually built out with massive, wide, shallow architectural flat files to store expensive fiber-based photo paper, oversized mat boards, and finished prints perfectly flat. Why would a wealthy European modeling agency owner specifically build it this way? Collaborative work, ventilation control, the island hop workflow. In 1994, he might have an automatic roller transport print processor, like a Jobo or Fujimoto machine, sitting on one side of the room. A center island gives him a staging area to move prints efficiently from dry. Okay, visualizing the scene. Okay, so this is a lot of information. I'm not gonna sit down and like mess with all this stuff, so I'm gonna go like this. I want you to describe a darkroom in detail of this nature that you're talking about. It's got the center island, but it's both wet and dry. It's two center islands, a wet one and a dry one. And that way it's super high end, right? It's got the flat files on the dry side, and then you can still walk around on the wet side. Meanwhile, against the walls, you may have the large equipment. I also want you to, in this description, make sure you include every single piece of equipment you mentioned in terms of the cameras and the development equipment that might be in the room. Be very detailed, but be concise and make it mutually exclusive, comprehensively exhaustive. In other words, break it up so that we understand the room layout, each section of the room, and what equipment is in that section of the room. And then also have a section for the cameras. That's my suggestion, but if you have a better way of breaking it up, you can do it that way. So go ahead and describe that room in detail, again, as concise as possible without losing any of the details we've discussed in this conversation. Let's see what it does. And let's go back to Claude and the darkroom. Okay. Oh my God. Claude did such a good job. Herb Ritz, Patrick Demarchelier, and Harder Edge European School, Newton. I like Helmut Newton. I like his stuff. El Gort. The look was sun-drenched outdoor work mixed with high-contrast studio strobe. His darkroom would be as much a social and aesthetic statement as a functional workspace, the kind of place you bring a model or an art director to show them who you are. So I'm copying that, and then let's see what Gemini came out. Okay. Okay. So revolving darkroom door, a lighting grid, camera control and ventilation, film fridge, Dry center island, the wet center island, the perimeter walls. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it back to Claude because I think Claude's a little bit better at this stuff. So I'm like, okay, Claude, here's a description of a darkroom. I want you to take any details that are not in this description that you gave me from your descriptions and include them into the description. Make a mutually exclusive, comprehensively exhaustive description of this ultra-luxury darkroom. Summary description of an ultra-luxury darkroom. Do not remove any details. Be concise, but do not delete any details, especially about the equipment and layout. Okay. Now we throw this in. Cool. Let's see what it comes up with. Because Claude also had the lighting gear, which is really nice. So it's working. Let's see. The Cocoa Plum Darkroom Laboratory. Darkroom occupies a purpose-built dedicated room, 12 by 16 feet or larger within the mansion. Its sole entrance is heavy, light, tight, matte, black, cylindrical revolving turnstile door. A professional darkroom staple that allows people to enter and exit without throwing light leaks into active film or paper. Overhead lighting runs on a dual circuit grid. A circuit A provides standard white fluorescent tubes. Circuit B, suspended professional amber and red safe lights focus directly downward into work zones, leaving the high ceiling and corner in deep shadow. A dedicated hyper-filtered HVAC system. Okay, 50% relative humidity. Okay, the dry central island. Massive block of anti-static, chemical-resistant matte black laminate. Okay, the wet center island. Okay. The control clock, a Grelab 300. The under the counter wide shallow architectural flat file drawers running the full length of the island. Okay, cool. And then the perimeter walls exposing the mechanical stations, drywall. Enlarged, okay. Second unit, good. Wet wall, okay. Film refrigerator. Flush mounted, okay. Sub-Zero. Damn. Okay. Camera equipment package. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Studio lighting. Okay. So this looks excellent, but something tells me that the camera package and the studio lighting would be not in the dark room. Is that correct? Whoops, I think I missed that one. Sounds like a great description, but something tells me that the camera equipment and the studio lights would be in a different room, correct? Because that's lights and cameras. Let me stop it. Okay, great. Give me the description again. Include everything, but separate it into two sections. One is the dark room, and include all the details you said. Describe the room in detail, especially all the equipment and the layout. And then just have another section called the studio. And in the studio, put all the camera equipment and include how a professional studio would be laid out in terms of tables and setups for fashion shoots. But make that separate and include all the equipment from the lighting and cameras in the second description. So make it two descriptions. Okay, so now we're talking. We're getting there. So the darkroom laboratory. And Claude's working it out. So what do I do it this way? I do it this way because now you can generate the set image, right? And you can create the room where Joel lives. All these details are great, and they go into the writing. They go into Joel's, his history, sort of the notes about the set. But you want to have a visual. So Claude's still writing, which is good. And then once Claude is done, we can hit this guy, the Gemini, and Gemini can generate some pretty good images, and we'll see what we get. Guys, I'm gonna sign in under a different account real quick because I noticed I'm in the wrong account, so I'm gonna put you on hold for just a second. Enjoy the music. I love this song. Oops. Okay. I'm back. I actually turned the song volume down. I feel bad. So I'm going to turn the song volume back up so you guys can hear it. It's so nice. Here we go.
Sun is falling, speed in the black.
That's nicer, right? A little music in the background. All right. So we've got our Claude description, which is finished. Great. And we copy that and we throw that into our set. So this is, let's just copy this down here. Yeah. And we'll go boom, boom. Studio. And then pasta this. Okay, darkroom laboratory. That's good. Okay, and then part 2, the studio. Perfect. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the studio It's a lot of good information here. Perfect. We're going to take that studio and we're going to make a new file. We're going to call it Garvin Hackett Sets Joel Photo Studio. Perfect. And then here, paste. So now we have a really nice setup of, we don't need this anymore. Nope. Don't need that. But we do have the space. And now we can fold it up. We have the space, the shooting floor, the camera systems, the lighting systems, the production tables. Great. So this tells us what this set looks like. Now we're going to have some fun. It's going to get fun, guys, real quick. So let's go back to the darkroom. And we can take part 2 out of there, which we did. Good. And then I think, let's see. This is the dark room. So, okay. Delete that. Okay, so here we go. I got a dark room and all this information. Now it's going to get cool. So, the workflow. Okay. I'm gonna see how far I can get. So the cameras don't have to be here anymore, but the chrome finish on the Leica M6 does. So let me just get that and make sure that it's included in the photo studio. Oh, chrome finish. They got it. They got the chrome finish. Okay, so we got that. So we don't need the cameras anymore because they are outside. So let's see. We're in the dark room. The film stocks would be in the studio. So let's see if they got the film stocks. Camera systems. Let me just see. Stock. Okay, so they didn't include the film stock, so let's get that. So we got the space, the shooting floor, the camera systems, the lighting system, the production tables, and then what's missing is boom boom 6 film stocks. Okay, we got the film stocks, and that will hopefully get us everything we need for the photo studio. And then we'll go back to the darkroom because we're still working on that. So we don't need the film stocks anymore. We definitely don't need the cameras anymore because we got that. And we don't need the studio anymore. Let's see. Why do I have all the studio stuff? Oh, okay. So I don't need any of this anymore. Yeah, I don't need the continuous lighting. All that stuff is included, I believe. So I'm just gonna YOLO this. Let's see. I'm gonna keep the workflow. Let's see if this works. Move the workflow all the way to the end. And I'll make it number 6. Just to keep that information. Okay. Let's just try to manage like large amounts of detailed information, and I want to make sure we don't lose useful stuff. So I'm coming to this, deleting all this. Yeah, the shooting floor, the space, this is all. Yep. And then we have the dark room. Okay. So, perfect. Okay. Why do we do this? We did this because now we can take advantage of the AI image generations to turn all this, compress it down into a visual that's authentic to 1994. That's the goal here. And there's 2 ways I'm going to do this. I'm going to jump into one of the most impressive things is we don't need. Actually, I'm going to change this. So he's talking about burning and dodging right here. And I'm going to change that. Okay. I'm going to start again. That was my timer going off. We've been at this for 45 minutes, but we're almost at the big climax. So I'm going to keep it going for 1 second. Let's see. So we get the, let's go here. See if this works. 4, perfect. And then pro tip for your story. I want to just return this. There we go. And then I go burning and dodging. Burning and dodging. Cardboard shapes. Great. Cool. So now we have the dark room. All right, so let's go here and copy pasta. And this is the miracle right now. Let's see how this pays off. All this setup. If we go to research and we jump into Google Gemini, and this is where Google Gemini is pretty good, is we say, boom, create image. And then we say, okay, Gemini, create an image of this dark room. Spare no expense in the detail. Make the image according to the description with all the equipment in it. This is a luxury dark room, so it's spacious, and it's in a Coco Plum mansion in 1994 in Miami. Okay, let's see what it does. So while that's generating, there's another little guy that I like to use, which is ChatGPT. ChatGPT. GPT. Let's see. Boom. ChatGPT. Let's go this one. Personal account. All right. So if I create an image, actually, I think I might have a prompt. Let me search for it. I think I might have a prompt that generates a sheet, a character sheet. Let me see. Let's go to the writing section and see what we got. So I wonder. Give me a second, guys. Let me look this up. All right, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find that prompt, but I don't need it because I can generate it. I just realized. Okay, here we go. Let's see, first of all, how far along ChatGPT is. I mean, Gemini is. Let's see how they're doing. So there we go. Damn, that is a nice dark room. So that's beautiful. I love it. All right, I'm going to download the full size. Well, that's going. Oh, there it is. Let's go to documents. Let's see, here we go. Cool. Now I'm going to do something fun. So let's just zoom in on this because this is so nice. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? So we've basically, in about 45 minutes, we've created a film set. That's awesome. Okay, great. Now, we're going to do this. This is going to be fun. So now I'm going to upload a file. And I'm going to go boundaries, Garvin Hackett. Okay. Open. I want you to generate a prompt that, given a description and the prompt, would generate a page or layout like this in the image that I've attached. So basically, if I give you the description of a space, you would then, using the prompt that you're about to generate, that's generic, take the description, generate the image, and output it in the format of the image that I just updated. In other words, please ignore any of the actual image content and text content of the layout, but capture a prompt that describes a generic version of this layout. So there would be like a details section, and it would have images and then a brief description of each image, kind of thing. I hope I'm making sense. Let me know if you need to ask any clarifying questions. And I got to take out images, because otherwise it'll actually create an image. So I'm going to copy this image and I'm going to throw it into the lookbook, which I'm preparing for you guys. Guys, this lookbook's going to be badass when it's done. Oh no, it just copied the text. Let me go back there and grab the image itself. Copy image. I'm preparing Joelle's lookbook. Watch out, guys. Watch out. It's going to get good. I don't even know where to paste this. I got so many images here. There it is. There's the darkroom. Brilliant. Okay, let's see what it came up with. So here's a prompt to generate the generic version of the complex magazine layout. The prompt uses placeholders for a person's name and space description, which can then be filled by a description of your choosing. Cool. High resolution magazine style multi-panel editorial page layout titled profile. Okay. Let's take out this has issues, but it's pretty good. Okay. Let me talk to Claude. Claude's really good about this. Okay, Claude, here's a prompt to generate a layout of images, but it's got a couple of things that are a little bit too precise or too overspecified. One of them is that it specifies the title. It should be, everything that should be text should be sort of a placeholder. And the usage of this is going to be at the end or beginning of this prompt. You tell me what works better. There should be a detailed description of the space. And the idea is for an AI to be able to take the description and then use this prompt that I'm about to give you as the template to generate a kind of sheet showcasing the space and its details. Let me give you the prompt here and you can see what I'm talking about. Feel free to ask me any clarifying questions. Okay. I'll paste it in and I'll send it up. Claude generally is pretty good at this stuff, this detail stuff. Okay, where does the space description go? You mentioned beginning or end. My instinct is it goes at the top as a context block before the layout instructions. The AI reads the space first and then applies it to the template. But do you want it as a separate, clearly labeled section? Or what? Yeah. One separate section. Let's, it's two copy paste operations. The description and the prompt. Okay. 2, what's the output target? Something like ChatGPT or Gemini that can output text and images. Photoreal. Okay, 3, the placeholder. When you say everything text should be a placeholder, do you mean pure bracketed tokens, a mix where the structure is described in plain English, but the specific, I'll just put whatever works best for a generic template. I just want the AI to know that it fills those spaces in based on the description. And then 4, pride and passion and signature possession section. Should those sections, titles themselves, become placeholders, or are those fixed? Yes, those are placeholder. So for example, in the description below, the AI should decide what bits go into the details sections based on salience. The template should be useful. For almost any description. That is detailed. In this case, it is rooms. Okay, so we got that going. Here is an example description. For you to have some context. And I'll put here the description. I'll go to writing. Boom, boom. And let's put in from the sets, let's put in his photo studio. Okay, let's open it all up. And let's select all. This is a big one, so Claude's going to get a lot of context here. And then we'll go back to our research. And let's give Claude their context. Let's see what Claude says. Perfect. This gives me everything I need. So the structure is the space description, the layout prompt template. The template should be space agnostic, salience driven, and works for any detailed room or environment description. Great. So now we're building the prompt. Or I should say Claude's building the prompt. And we go back to writing. And here we're going to actually include a prompt for ourselves. So I'm going to go to Garvin Hackett. And let's create a new file. Let's do it in a new tab. And we're going to create a new file. And it'll be writing Garvin Hackett. And prompts. And it will be, let's see, what do we call this thing? I'm actually not sure. Let's try, naming is hard. Naming is hard. So let's go to research and let's see what it says here. What did it call it? So block 2, the layout prompt template. Okay, the template. So the template is great, but I need something to call it. Okay. What is this kind of output? What the template outputs? What's a good name for this kind of art? Is it layout? Like, help me out here. Naming is hard. Let's see what Claude says. Editorial layout. Feature page. Profile page. Editorial layout. Feature page. Spread. Editorial layout. I'm going to call it editorial layout. Why not? Actually, feature page, maybe? Feature layout. I'm going to go feature layout. Let's go with that. So let's go back to writing. And let's get our feature layout. Feature layout. And then I'll put here note. Paste a detailed description before this prompt. The prompt and then make sure you are using an image generating AI. Paste the prompt after the description to have it generate a feature layout spread of the content of the description. Okay, and I'll put here the prompt. I wonder if skills would work. I wonder if this is what people call a skill. Let me see. Well, we'll take care of that later. Let's just paste the prompt first and get this work done. Perfect is the enemy of good. Okay. Boom. Space description. Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Great. So I see this looks pretty good. Let's just try it. So okay. So we'll go into research. Boom. And now we go into an image generating AI like Gemini. And let's start it fresh. And we'll paste our prompt in. And then we'll throw in the description of the space from our writing. Let's do the dark room. What do you say, guys? It's a dark room. And I'm just going to go here and I'm going to give it a title. Dark room. Okay. And that way I can copy everything. So let's go to the bottom. Select all the text. I'm just selecting text right now. Nothing to see. But this is going to be fun. All right. I select the text. Let's switch it in and then we'll paste the text right in here. Okay, we got the dark room. And then block 2 layout instructions. And then what we need is we need an image. Create image. Boom. Now we select this prompt and we upload it. And then let's go to chat. Create an image. Throw that into chat and see what chat comes up with. Boom. All right, so we got both the AIs generating images for us. Let's see what comes out of it. It's exciting. It's sort of the grand finale here, guys. And then we'll paste that into the lookbook, and then we're done for the day. So lots of research going into these visualizations, huh? But you do get ideas for scenes this way. It lets you understand the space that the characters are going to be living in. While we're waiting for that, let's go to writing. And let's clean up a bit. What do you say? So what do we got done today? Let's see. So we have two set descriptions that we didn't have before. We have the photo studio and the home theater. Oh, and the dark room. We don't have the home theater description yet. And now this is a better workflow, I think, for making the home theater description. So maybe we should revisit that. So I'm going to put that into research. Let's say research questions. Actually, I'm going to do a to-dos list. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to go writing. Garvin Hackett. To-dos. And then I'll start with, what was I going to do? Damn. Help me out. Let's see. We had, oh yeah, the home theater. Feature layout of the home theater. Okay. Feature layout of the dark room. And then feature layout of the modeling studio, photo studio. It's crazy, isn't it? That like in 1994 we had all this, and now very quickly we're moving into AI where models are just going to be generated by machines. Let's see. So let's go back to Garvin Hackett and we'll look at our research questions because I think we can put one of these to rest, which is, oh, just darkroom equipment. We didn't get into the weapons. Oh man. No weapons. Okay, well we can come to the weapons later. I'll have to update that stamp into, I guess, camera gear, right? Which is what we studied. Photography gear. 1994 photography gear. And then I'll go into weapons next time in day 8. Creating, it's a lot of world building, huh? All right, let's see what we got here. If any of these miracle, ooh, I got some good stuff for you guys, I think. Wow. Okay, guys, you're gonna like this. Okay, here we go. You ready? I'll go on. So let's take a look at what they came up with. Look at that. I wonder if I can open it in a new window, because that would be cool. I'm gonna put this in a new window. Open image in new tab. Sure, I'll save it. But I want to open image in new tab. Open image in new tab. Why is it doing that? Okay. Cancel, and I'm just gonna drag it in, I guess. Let's try this. Let me see what we got here. This is it. Boom. Look at this, guys. That's pretty amazing, huh? Like that. Let's see if I can get it so you guys can see it. So we've got this image of the darkroom. We got the darkroom viewer, the components, entry and exit, dry center island, wet center island, enlarger stations, processing and finishing. This is great. The refrigerator down here, the analyzer. This is great, guys. Look at this. The Durst enlarger, the curated, the Gray Lab timer, This is amazing. Philosophy, precision, consistency. The negative is the score. The print is the performance. Everything in between is where the artistry lives. I don't know who this guy is. Okay, I love it. I love it. Okay, that's the dark room. Let's see that ChatGPT really kind of went above and beyond, right? Let's see what Gemini came up with. Boom. Here it is. This is really nice too. They're kind of similar, right? These super high-end dark rooms. The Gray Lab control, the Durst, the lenses, Sub-Zero refrigerator. Okay. I gotta say, I think they're both good. They're not bad. The darkroom components. This is great, actually. I'm gonna use them both. All right, guys. So there you go. I think it took a little longer, but I think it was worth it. Let's just download the high res version. I think it was very worth it in order to get this like beautiful 1994 darkroom. All right, so I'm gonna go into the writing, and here, and I'm gonna go to my to-dos. Here, so we got the darkroom. We still need the home theater and the photo studio. So move that up. And then let's go to, close this, research questions. Yeah, so we're gonna need the M60, a lot of questions about Garvin's weapons, and then Roger Gust's equipment and methods. So this is the next thing we need to sort of focus on. All right, guys. Well, next time, thank you, by the way, for if you stuck with me this long, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And join me next time when we start looking at the machine guns and we start looking at the weapons of a tabloid reporter in 1994. That's going to be a lot of fun. Weapons, the equipment of a tabloid reporter, and the methods of extracting information. That's going to be fun. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.